Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's talk about Sean P. Diddy Combs now. Old P. Diddy's in the news, and it's not for anything good this time. This story goes to show you that, like there are ups and downs even for the most wealthiest of them all. But I get this from the yahoo.com. It's actually uk.finance.yahoo.com, and it says Spirit Giant Diago seeks to cut ties with Sean Diddy Combs amid lawsuit alleging racism. Now, if you don't know, Diago owns a Ciroc brand that P. Diddy, I'm gonna say, promotes. We've been led to believe that he, owns Ciroc. That's what they kind of, tell us black people. That P. Diddy owns Ciroc. That's his brand. He's the face of the brand. We're gonna push it and, gonna make a lot of money off of it. Now, personally, I don't drink any longer. It's been a couple years since I even had a drink. I think the last thing I bought was Uncle Nearest brand. As a matter of fact, I still got the bottles in my cabinet. I think I'm gonna keep them as collectors or what have you. Promoting actually black-owned brands. But I don't think I ever had Ciroc. I don't think I ever bought Ciroc. I think So I mean, it's just another alcohol to me. And then just because P. Diddy was the face of it, didn't make me want to buy it no more, because you always know who's behind it. But anyway, let's get into the story, because there's a little bit to unpack here. So it says Spirit Giant Diago says he's cutting ties with rapper and entrepreneur Sean Diddy Combs following his move to sue the company over allegations of racism in the handling of his liquor brand, according to a Tuesday court filing. Combs' lawsuit, filed with the New York Supreme Court in Manhattan last month, said Diago's North America starved Combs' Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila brands of resources while showering attention on other celebrity brands. Now, I wish I would have looked up some of the other celebrity brands, because I'm sure there's a reason for that. But anyway, Combs, who is black, said Diago leadership told him that his race was one of the reasons it limited distribution to urban neighborhoods and stunted sales growth of his brand. According to the suit, which seeks billions of dollars in damages and other legal proceedings against Diago, Combs also told that Diago leaders resented him for making too much money. My question is, what's wrong with that? Oh, why are we surprised? There's something that I always say, that we are living in their world. You are living in their world. We're talking about alcohol or vodka. It's like this company owns so many brands of vodka. It's like alcohol. You just come in, they see you. We'll say it like this. They use Diddy for his status, for the urban youth. Just like any other company in any other brand, we can go all the way back to McDonald's using Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player, the most popular basketball player at the time. So you got McDonald's, and you got, was it Coke? I think, he did commercials for them to boost their brand, for a particular audience. You couldn't say Michael Jordan gonna sell, Big Macs for people that are 60 years and older. He was used to, to promote the brand for the youth who watched and played basketball and who admired Michael Jordan for his greatness. Period. You know what I'm saying? It'd be silly to say, well, he didn't, it'd be silly to say, well, McDonald's didn't promote the Big Macs or the Happy Meals to 65-year-old Asian men. They go on a pitch and hold me to these kids in America that play basketball. It's just business, that's whether you like it or not, that's how business goes. I mean, hell, even the business he's, you know what I'm saying, known for in rap music, you're not promoting music. You can sit there and try to say, man, we promote our music for everybody. No, you don't, man. Music is for those who like it. Ain't nobody in their right mind, my age or older, will be or should be listen to some doggone me Glorilla or anybody, whatever else is popular out there in rap. Shouldn't be, but it's catering to a certain people, and we can get into that in a different, you know what I'm saying, in a different video. But anyway, so he said race is one reason why limited distribution to urban neighborhoods. I mean, okay, that's what they plan to do. They said, we're going to use your blackface to promote this alcohol to your black people, just so we can increase sales. That's just it. And you really can't say nothing about it, because all in all, when it's all said and done, P. Diddy did not own Ciroc. He had a partnership, you know, and his and thanks to him, his services are no longer needed. Cloaking itself in language of diversity and equality is good for Diago's business, but it's a lie. Reads the May 31 complaint filed on behalf of Combs Wines and Spirits LLC. So now you got your little LLC acting like you own the liquor, but like you and like Jay-Z, you know, story I did before, where Jay-Z and the alcohol, was it Armadale or whatever, the alcohol brand he, you know, partnership with, they don't even know where the liquor's made. You know, so never been to the factories, never been to the breweries or wineries or whatever. They just, you know what I'm saying, put their face, you know, on the commercials, on advertising, and get paid. Meanwhile, Diageo has denied the accusations and calls Combs' suit a quote unquote sham action. In Tuesday's filing, which calls on the court to compel arbitration or dismiss Combs' complaint, Diageo accuses Combs of resorting to false and reckless allegations in an effort to extract additional billions from the company. Diageo said it was ending its brand partnership with the music mogul, noting that the company has served the Combs parties a notice of intent to arbitrate breaches of the De Leon agreement and a notice of termination for the Ciroc relationship. Combs' relationship with Diageo dates to 2007 when the London-based company, which owns more than 200 brands, including Guinness Beer and Tanqueray Gin, approached Combs about Ciroc. In Tuesday's filing, Diageo said that Combs had acquired nearly $1 billion through their 15-year relationship. The company also argues that Combs did not act as an equal partner by, for example, not providing adequate funding to help De Leon grow, stating that outside of $1,000 contribution from Combs, Diageo provided 100% of the funding for the joint venture, which amounted to a total investment of more than $100 million. So you telling me that multi-millionaire mogul, and I ain't trying to count nobody's money. I'm not a pocket watcher. But you telling me that, let's keep it on myself. So you saying if I could invest, if you told me that if I invested $1,000 into a project, into a joint venture, and within 15 years, I will make nearly $15 billion. If you told me that even after that time, that it would make sense to sue them for racial discrimination and that they screw me out of billions and billions of dollars, man, I had to look at myself with a side eye, because that's not making sense. It's not making business sense. Matter of fact, this sounds like a typical music artist contract, something he should know well about, to where you'll have these record labels, the CEOs, you know, that own the companies. Majority, white Jewish men, owning the companies and getting these young artists, signing them into these jacked up deals, paying them pennies on the dollars, selling millions of records, and the artists still live with their parents or make like $30,000. I remember I used to call myself being in the music business or studying the music business for a little minute. And when you're reading contracts and you're studying, you find out that you can tell an artist they're making so many points on the record, but after you take out all these fees and advances, studio times, production costs, things like that, you end up making, you think you're making $1 a record, but you probably end up making like 5 cents a record in the end. And you don't get paid, and you didn't get paid for months. And Brother Combs, as it been well documented on videos and court filings, it seems that he followed in the same suit with his Bad Boy. Like, he screwed many artists. And a lot of his artists ain't got no money and broke or dead or whatever, or what have you. But a lot of people say they ain't make no money. So he made all the money. He found ways to do his people wrong. But he could fall back on, look, he's putting all the money in, his fame, his knowledge of the business, all of that to help promote you, so make your face worldwide. So now you can be famous. You can go out and make all the money you want. So you go out and make all the money you want some other ways, but the money's gonna come back to the record label, i.e. to P. Diddy. So now he's in the same type of business venture, and now he's upset. Now he's suing. But since he don't own anything, what's it, Diego saying, we out of here. Because you only put in $1,000. $1,000? Man, let me tell you something. Real quick story. Years ago, I had a home-based stereo, kind of like a car entertainment system installation business where, like mobile, audio installations where we do stereo, speakers, TVs, whatever, stuff like that. So that's what I did that on my own. And then I had like 2 buddies of mine, and we still cool to this day. So, they understand. It was like, we was young, so maybe everyone didn't understand how business worked. They wanted to, get in on it. So I said, okay. So I had, but one of the guys, we used his house, his garage to, build the boxes or whatever. And another guy was going to use, supposedly his skills of leather and stuff like that. And then I could do all the designing and making sure all the specs are right. Make sure, everything, buying everything, but I put all the money behind everything. I'm gonna use that place next skill, whatever. So when it came down to it, when it came like doing jobs, the money, they was thinking gonna be split, 3 ways. The problem with that is when it comes down to the finances, well, they want to be split 3 ways from the top. And what I try to explain to them, and they was, didn't understand at first, and was kind of, a little upset at first, but had to explain to them, like, look, off top, this is like, my tax license, and I'm putting all the money into it. Now, it don't make sense to say if I spend $100, on everything, just throwing them back. Let's say I spend $100 on like stereo, the wiring, kits, all that kind of stuff, right? And then we go to homeboy house. Okay, then we put the radio in, and let's say I charge the guy $200. Okay, well, let's say $300. Let's just say that $300 to put the radio for the stereo and the installation. Okay, if I get $300, it don't make sense to me in the business to split it 3 ways off top, no matter how it goes, because because that means I get $100 back. That means that I made no profit. No profit. The business owner and the taxpayer who got to pay tax at the end of the year and file all this stuff. It makes no sense for me to split this 3 ways, and I make 100, and each one of them make 100. They making damn near 100% profit. I make no profit, and can't even put back into the business to grow. So I had to explain to them first. What we can do is we got to pay back all the expenses, whether it's tools, like I said, for the products, using the homeboy electricity or whatever, all that we pay for the expenses. Then we got to put a certain amount back into the business. Then we split it 33%. It ain't like, then we split 33% equally from the profits afterwards. But at first they didn't understand it, but once I explained to them, and then they figured out that's just basic business. And you would think that, P. Diddy would know that that's how business goes, but undoubtedly, he thought he had hookup. He thought that I'm gonna put $1,000 in them, and I made $1 billion. Shoot, I'm getting out like a fat right now. They cheating me, and I feel sad and like want to cry. So it don't make sense. It said, let's go back to it. Mr. Combs' bad faith actions have clearly breached his contracts and left us no choice but to move to dismiss his baseless complaint and end our business relationship, Diego said in a Tuesday statement. We have exhausted every reasonable remedy and see no other path forward. Yeah, once a person try to sue you for racial discrimination, and even if it is racially biased, it's like I would just cut part ways and you make no money. Going back to being an entrepreneur. But this is really about ownership and distribution. The money's in ownership, the money's in distribution. If you can control those two entities, man, the sky's the limit for you, for decades and generations to come. But when you don't have it and you still pretty much clock in and you depended on the man for all your business moves, it's like you still an employee. You're a high-paid employee. You should have made $1 billion. I don't think I'll ever make $1 billion. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't think. I'm still gonna always strive to do it. But the odds are most of us will not make $1 billion in our lifetime, and you made it within 15 years. You can't be mad at that. In a statement sent to the Associated Press on Tuesday, attorneys representing Combs, Wines, and Spears said Diego's attempt to end the partnership were like firing a whistleblower who calls out racism. Man, you should have did something behind the scenes. It's cynical and transparent attempt to distract from multiple allegations of discrimination, Combs' attorney said, adding that Combs repeatedly raised concerns that senior executives uttered racially insensitive comments and made biased decisions over the years. He brought the lawsuit to force them to live up to the contract, and instead they responded by trying to get rid of him. This lawsuit and Mr. Combs are not going away. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. When you're dealing with money, you in that world, you think that y'all playing the same game, but you're not. Or you're playing the same game, but you're not playing by the same rules. You think you're on the same level as these guys. Man, these guys own 200 different brands. You just one of many. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me look at something real quick. Who owns Ciroc? Let's just see. Diego owns the Ciroc brand. The only reason why I looked it up because it was talking about how Combs and Diego approached Combs about Ciroc back in the day. Diego owns the Ciroc brand, but turned over its marketing and promotion to Combs in 2007. De Leon was acquired in 2013 as a joint venture between Combs and Diego. We plan to have De Leon remain in Diego's portfolio and will also continue to produce and support the brand, a Diego Sports spokesman said. It says 16 hours ago. Let's see, what rapper owns Ciroc? Key background: Combs, wine, and spirit. In 2017, entered into an equal share of venture with Diego for Ciroc. And then a struggling vodka brand that took off after the deal. Diego then bought De Leon with Combs' company. A purchase. Diego statement said it funded and has spent more than $100 million on in the time since. So basically, what it's saying is they had a joint venture where P. Diddy was in charge of marketing and promotion. So again, you don't own it. We just say it's like say it's a partnership. It's a venture. Like, we own it, but we'll give you, we'll pay you to do this to promote it. But yet P. Diddy said they made it to where he can only promote to certain people, which is, like I said, that's business. Because let's just be honest, in this world we live in, everybody still are not going to be drawn to black faces for everything, for the most part, and vice versa. All races cannot appeal to all other races, right? And when you got people that's been in business, in marketing longer than you have, and have a more successful, rate, you got 200 doggone me brands, so they know exactly, pretty much know who to market to and how to market to them. Ciroc was struggling, probably because it was a cheap vodka, or wasn't nothing that substantially outrageous or great about it. They said, hey, let's just, since our white people won't buy, let's make it urban. Kind of like back in the day with St. Ives. Let's just make it in any other 40 ounce of malt liquor. Let's just sell this stuff to him in Newports. So how we gonna do that? P. Diddy. We can do use P. Diddy, and he's still fairly young, so he can appeal to the 30s and 40s and 50-year-olds, also appeal to some of the younger ones. And that'll bring in enough money to where we can get out the red with this, with this alcoholic beverage. Man, that's how business goes. Bottom line, if you're upset how people treat you, own it yourself. Put out your home, and call it a day. And it's just that simple. Anyway, too much think about this story. I sure hated for Pete. Not really, but I sure hated for the guy. He thought it was, think it's that one way, but it's that other. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.